Good evening. This is a 2v2. This is Maestro Cretella with the Dawn of War 2 Retribution Elite Modcast. We got a 2v2 faction battle today. Grey Knights versus Chaos. Now, if you're tired of lots of power armor, or if you're tired of me playing games with Winkel, well, I got a treat for you. I got more of it. Our first player is Winkel, as this Grey Knight Bro Captain, tanky melee hero, cannot be knocked down or suppressed, has a lot of support abilities, scales pretty well into Tier 2 and Tier 3 with some very good melee weapons and armor upgrades. His teammate, as another Grey Knight Bro Captain, is classy Skull Champion David, this player who kind of has rotating titles and prefixes to his name. Classy Brother Captain, classy Skull Champion, Commissar David. Next we have Maestro Cretella as the Chaos Sorcerer. Sindri, Trollface, Chaos Sorcerer. Now, I haven't been playing the Sorcerer that much lately. I've been playing a lot of Imperial Guard. But here's me as the Sorcerer. Infiltrated, shooting Doom Bolts, trolling, has long-range functionality, can do some crazy stuff in Tier 2 and Tier 3. The next player is JuhwannX, this new guy. He has a black-sounding voice, if you've ever heard him on the live stream. He's fairly new, but he did run one of the recent tournaments, the Come One, Come All. So thanks to him for that. He's playing as the Chaos Lord, a tanky melee hero. He can tank, disrupt, tie up, even does decent range damage. Right now he's rushing in with some Corn Worship. Now, over here, I am completely overwhelming Winkel. Kill 2 models on his strike squad. Now, what I'm kind of doing, I'm doing a new thing that I recently discovered when I had to improvise a bit in a game against a much better player, which is I'm using Heretic Worship to let Chaos Space Marines get into melee range and have them force melee, and then I unworship with Heretics and have them get into melee range when the Chaos Space Marines have units tied up so that the Heretics take little to no range damage on approach, especially when the Heretics are still in their vanilla form. So both JuhwannX and I have gone for a starting Heretic squad, a single Chaos Space Marine, and a second Heretic squad. This strike squad, I think, may be in a little bit of trouble, but so is this Chaos Heretic squad, losing every single model except for its Aspiring Champion. So I put such a huge amount of pressure on Winkel that he doesn't even have his natural VP. It's a triple cap for us. I was able to rush forward. Grey Knights apparently struggle a lot with early melee, so that's part of my strategy here. I have my double Heretics, I have my Chaos Space Marines, and I put Vestments of the Warp on my Sorcerer. So my goal with that, I want to teleport the Sorcerer in, tie up either the Strike Squad or the Stormtroopers. I looked up the range damage values, and the range damage for the Strike Squad and the Stormtroopers is actually roughly even. Those Strike Squad obviously going to be a lot tankier, going to be better in melee, but they are, of course, quite a bit more expensive. Now, right here, I'm just waiting for my Sorcerer to restore his health a little bit, and then I start worshipping. Since I did ultimately get pushed back, Winkel was able to get his natural VP. Looks like this game was lagging, but it's been a little while since I played it. The Grey Knight Bro Captain does sync kill one of those Heretics, and it does not stay on the ground. So I'm worshipping. Have one Heretic worshipping, the other one is closing in for melee. The Sorcerer teleports in to tie up the Strike Squad, and now the Heretics are getting in, and they will start Doom Blasting and meleeing that Strike Squad. They got in without taking any range fire whatsoever, and now I'm also shooting some Doom Bolts from the back. And will I at least get a Strike Squad model? I mean, I certainly won that engagement with how I handled it, but unfortunately not a single model on that Strike Squad, losing quite a few Heretic members, upgrading to the Aspiring Champion, but have to be very careful. Now, Winkel answers back. He's got some Interceptors, but at least right now, I don't know how good those are going to be. Now, to follow up on my melee pressure, I'm getting Chaos Raptors, so I should be able to tie up. I should be able to instantly tie up both of Winkel's ranged units, mainly the Strike Squad and the Stormtroopers, and that allows my Chaos Space Marines to shoot from range. Also allows my Heretics to just get in range without even taking any melee damage. So I'm still exerting a lot of pressure on Winkel. Over here, looks like classy Skull Champion David is managing to push Juhwann back a little bit. Juhwann has gone for an Aspiring Champion on one Heretic squad. He's got grenade launcher heretics on the other. Those grenade launcher heretics can disrupt. They will be pretty good against the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. Oh no! That's gonna be, I think that's gonna be a dead heretic squad for Juhwann. And he just, no, he loses the heretic squad. I can't believe that. I thought he was gonna get the heretic squad out of there alive thanks to that havoc, but it didn't quite work out that way. Now, unfortunately, I'm not quite managing the this engagement the way I wanted it to, but luckily my heretics were still able to get in. And the Strike Squad are about to just get attacked by Aspiring Champion heretics, and they just have to get out of there. I'm putting so much pressure on Winkel, he can barely even keep himself in his lane. He did get a decap off on my natural VP, but he can barely even keep himself in his lane with all the pressure I'm exerting on him. Juhwann going to tier 2, so is Classy Skull Champion David. I'm going to be the last to get there because I've invested the most in tier 1, getting Vestments of the Warp, getting Aspiring Champions on both of my heretics, and getting some Chaos Raptors. Now I'm infiltrating all my stuff so I can fight as one or keep all of my units together and have them fight Chaos Space Marines. Chaos Space Marines right now are actually my least relevant unit. Their range damage is not that great, and as a melee unit, they won't actually quite win against the Strike Squad or the Interceptors. I'm really relying a lot more on the Raptors, my Sorcerer, and the Heretics. The Assault Space Marines right now really are actually not that important. They're my main capping unit for that reason. Still, again, exerting so much pressure, I can't even dislodge this unit in the garrison, but it doesn't matter, given how much pressure I'm putting on Winkel. Classy Skull Champion David doing a little more to draw even with Juhwann. It's a lot more back and forth in this lane as opposed to this lane where I'm really just keeping Winkel contained. Now, I don't even have much to deal with the Bro Captain, but I'm going with the other way of dealing with tanky melee heroes, which is I'm basically ignoring him and going for everything else. That's a strategy that, to be honest, it works a lot well against the Brother Captain than it does against most other races. Since most other races, the rest of their units actually have a lot more ability to fend for themselves, especially races like Space Marine, where if you try to ignore the Force Commander, you'll still have to deal with shotgun scouts, disrupting the rest of your units, especially melee units, because I'm mainly focusing on melee here, even using my Chaos Space Marines a bit as a melee unit. So we have some Stormtroopers right here. They're running up, scouting ahead, but my Chaos Space Marines are getting in cover. I'm not even to tier 2 yet, but Winkel and Classy Skull Champion David have not made any tier 2 purchases. And I'm actually keeping, with the pressure I'm exerting, I'm managing to really keep us ahead in VPs because I'm actually having a lot of control over Winkel's natural VP. Again, here it's much more back and forth. We do have a VP lead. Winkel is coming back out in full force. He's getting the Mantle of Terra for his, Bro Captain. Gonna help him out a lot, giving the Interceptors more energy. Now, the way Winkel can answer back here is that he has his Interceptors. They have been upgraded to have their Justicar. That means that they will disrupt with their teleport, and with the Canticle of Absolution, they will restore their energy and can teleport multiple times. Right now, I also can't unworship my Heretics because Canticle of Absolution prevents that. Now I unworship them, double Doom Blasts, and that's going to be really bad, except for the fact that the Interceptors teleport again, disrupting. So that's going to be a melee counter that... That's going to be another melee counter that that Grey Knights have. The fact that they can disrupt with the Interceptors, and the fact that they can do it multiple times when the Bro Captain has the Mantle of Terra. So right now the Bro Captain is going to be a lot more threatening, and he's really going to help to... He's really going to be able to counter me a lot better now than he was in tier 1. The build I had was absolutely destroying Winkel in tier 1, but it's going to have a bit more trouble scaling into tier 2. Now with a fully kitted out Bro Captain, going to be really good against those Heretics. You can kind of ignore the Bro Captain in part because his melee damage to start out really isn't that good, and he doesn't have a very solid tier 1 weapon upgrade. He has that Nemesis Force Sword, but the damage on it is not that great. It's mainly an ability for synergizing with We Are the Hammer. So JuhwannX over here might lose another Heretic squad. And Stormtroopers from Classy Bro Captain David even force meleeing the Chaos Heretics. I think they will win that fight. And Havoc from Juhwann here, suppressing all those forces. We do have a Blood Crusher out from Juhwann, but Classy Bro Captain David does have a Psy Cannon on his strike squad, going to be doing some explosive damage. Over here, I now have a Grey Knight Dreadnought upgraded to the Mark of Tzeentch. I'm basically just preempting basically just trying to preempt that Grey Knight Dreadnought, since that's often the most threatening thing that come out. Now, my Heretics are in here. They cannot use Doom Blast as long as Canticle of Absolution is active, but they're still basically winning those fights. This is still working out very well for me. And that actually could be a dead Grey Knight Bro Captain. I tried a Doom Blast, but ends up not being worth it. That being said, I'm here with a Dreadnought, getting my Sorcerer again. The massive VP pressure I'm exerting with all my forces, and then I just have the Sorcerer over here getting that point. Juhwann over here now has Lightning Claws, fully kitted out Chaos Lord, Harness of Rage, Lightning Claws, and the Dark Halo. That's a build where every piece of war gear synergizes very well with each other, and I think it will be very good against the Grey Knights. Will be good against pretty much most of the Grey Knight units. Will be good against the Bro Captain himself, since I think he will actually be beating the Bro Captain in combat. He'll have more health. He'll be restoring his health, or he'll be restoring the energy for his energy shield. Now over here, we have Canticle of Absolution again, and unfortunately I lose a Heretic squad because I could not unworship it. Now, I made a mistake there, continuing to use Worship even once the Bro Captain has Canticle of Absolution. The lesson to be learned here is that if you're playing a multiple Heretic build, especially a double Heretic build, or even a single Heretic build, once you see that Bro Captain with the Mantle of Terra and starting to use the Canticle of Absolution, you should pretty much stop worshipping just because it's way too much of a risk. Or at the very least, you're going to have to worship from very far back. Still a triple cap for us. Again, the massive VP pressure. Unfortunately, I'm taking some losses now, and even though my Grey Knight Dreadnought could technically win against most of these units, I want to be really careful with those Interceptors, with their crack grenades. But, I mean, the VPs are massively in favor of us, 414 to 80, or 81 to 414. It looks like Winkel, I'm pretty sure Winkel had another unit. I'm not sure what it was, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he just invested in those Interceptors, and that's what he did. But it looks like over here, unfortunately, we have double Grey Knight Dreadnoughts coming out for the Grey Knight team. Classy Skull Champion David with these Purifiers. They could actually take out, oh no, run the Blood Crusher away. And there's a dead Blood Crusher. Unfortunately, the Justicar on the Purifiers does do heavy melee, and even those power melee swords were enough to do some light AV damage. Khorne Space Marines, though, extremely good melee unit, very good choice. So JuhwannX is also going, again, for a very melee-oriented build, overwhelming those Grey Knights. The Chaos Lord can win against the Bro Captain, which is going to be very helpful. And then those Khorne Space Marines should pretty much destroy everything else. They might draw even against the Purifiers, I'm not sure.
A structure under our protection has been destroyed.
It's now a 1-to-1 cap, but I'm, again, with all the pressure I'm exerting here. And now I see that Grey Knight Dreadnought. I need to be really careful, though. I do have... oh, no. My Heretic's getting a little overextended. I'm not paying attention. But my Sorcerer is going to get the cap off. 68 VPs to 398. Sorcerer gets the cap off, and now he's got to just teleport out of there. Alright, over here. Now, unfortunately, I think JuhwannX is suffering a little bit. Does not really have great counters to this Grey Knight Dreadnought. In fact, he does not have any AV whatsoever, except for the light AV on those Khorne Chaos Space Marines. I'm a little bit better off. I do have the Mark of Tzeentch on my Chaos Dreadnought, in a way sort of to preempt that Grey Knight Dreadnought, but I'm getting a little overwhelmed here. Too much stuff. I got most of my units forced off, and I'm not even sure exactly which unit wins head-to-head between the Mark of Tzeentch Chaos Dreadnought and the Grey Knight Dreadnought. but the Mark of Tzeentch Chaos Dreadnought is still just one of the best AV sources you can have for Chaos, period. Especially when you are not in Tier 2 and can't get a Predator. It's just high DPS. It's a vehicle itself. It can be tied up, but the risk, there's a lot more risk to tying up a Dreadnought than there is to tying up a Las Cannon or a Plague Marine squad. So I'm at least pushing back a little bit. Need to move up a bit with that Chaos Dreadnought. Meanwhile, Juhwann, unfortunately, is getting pushed back here by the Grey Knight Dreadnought in his lane, and looks like, oh, Winkel's getting purifiers of his own. Oh, and Juhwann loses that Chaos Lord to just the massive forces. I don't know what that was. Oh no, it was actually Classy Bro Captain David losing his Bro Captain. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like JuhwannX lost his Chaos Space Marines, though, which is obviously not very good. I have a Mark of Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines.
Understood.
Kind of playing a little bit of a game of chicken right here. Juhwann trying to go for that cap. His Chaos Havoc squad, I think, is too far forward. He's going to lose his Heretics, I think. Oh, but a Hell Fury strike on an already partially a Las Cannon at partial health might even lose that Havoc. On this side of things, getting in a little bit of trouble right now. Dreadnought's getting into melee. I don't know who exactly that favors, but overall the fight looks like it's not favoring me. Chaos Space Marines came very close to dying, and now my Grey Knight, my Dreadnought is isolated. I do teleport it out of there, but it needs to run, Use warped it out of there. Fortunately, things are not really going my way now. Juhwann himself, Classy Bro Captain David, has completely pushed up into Juhwann's natural power. We also have double Inquisitorial Stormtroopers with plasma guns. I don't know exactly what the damage is, but that's probably got to be pretty good against power armor. Not that JuhwannX actually has a lot of power armor. JuhwannX now going for a Chaos Predator. Unfortunately, with all the pressure that I've been dealing with as well. In fact, both Classy Skull Champion David and Winkel were in my lane. I guess that's why I felt like there was so much in my lane. Classy Skull Champion David had his own purifiers in there, so there were double purifiers. And now I'm kind of off the field just from trying to repair my Chaos Dreadnought. Unfortunately, it's taking too much time to repair it because I lost one of my Heretic squads, so I'm repairing with only one, and I'm really relying a lot on that Chaos Dreadnought at the moment. Unfortunately, it's a triple cap for the blue team. I guess I should probably start moving out a little bit more because we look at the map control for the blue team. I could at least get the rest of my units out of there to start capping the points again. But I guess I was really just concerned about my Chaos Dreadnought.
We're losing a power.
Still a lot of idling from me. Hate to show that off. Now, of course, as soon as I move in to recapture my points, I guess that's Winkel's. That's Winkel's sign to just get back in there. Unfortunately, those interceptors really are doing a number on me now, especially now that they can teleport twice. Now, having a Chaos Predator out is going to be very nice, except for the fact that I don't have a whole lot of repair support for it. Unfortunately, my Raptors are going to go down. Yes, they do. Unfortunately, a lot of things just exploded right there. A lot of Grey Knight units exploded right there, but at least the Purifier squad actually got out of there. The Grey Knight Dreadnought will not, though, so I do at least manage to take out the Dreadnought. But the VPs have been really evened up, 41 to 139. Triple cap for the blue team now, after having after being at such a disadvantage. So I'm getting my natural VP back, deciding I need to capture our power farm back. Now both me and Juhwann are in Tier 3. My Sorcerer is fully kitted out, Tome of Subjugation, Vestments of the Warp, and the Rod of Warpfire. Now over here, I'm bringing over all my units. This is a lot of AV for Classy Skull Champion David to deal with. He might lose his Grey Knight Dreadnought out of this. And there is an Imperial Abyss as well. A terrible Imperial Abyss, and it was by me. Does not do a whole lot, but at least I do manage to at least take out that Chaos Dreadnought. Or the Grey Knight Dreadnought, rather. Unfortunately, most of David's forces are still in here, so we haven't really been able to cap that point. Now I'm capturing this middle VP for us. But Winkel actually still hasn't moved up in there. Where is Winkel? Oh, he's coming in through the middle to deal with us again. My Sorcerer actually getting low on health, so he will not be able to get that point off. It's now a 1-to-1 cap, and the VPs are very even. Got to be very careful with my vehicles because we have interceptors coming in. So many Grey Knight units. How many units are here? Are these all of Winkel's things? Yes, all of Winkel's units. It just feels like there are so many of them right there. The Grey Knight Dreadnought, where did it go? And I'm getting a second Chaos Predator, even though I don't have a lot of repair support. Now, while all this is going on, I'm moving my Chaos Space Marines over for a back cap. The fighting is just not going well for us. And Juhwann even gets the cap on that middle, so now the victory points are ticking back down for us again. 2 cap for us, 32 to 70. But Winkel is surprisingly overwhelming down here. My Predator getting chased down by things. A lot of Predators and some subjugated units out as well to get them off the cap. Single cap game for us. 9 VPs to 70. And it looks like the Grey Knight Bro Captain, will he go down? I just need to face these heretics, but I'm probably focusing on something else. Fortunately, I'm down here, and my Tzeentch Chaos Space Marines cannot win against the Purifiers. That is definitely a losing battle for them. Orbital Bombardment going down somewhere over here. Gets my Sorcerer, and he does not even get the cap off. Single cap game. So that actually stops the cap. That would have won it for us, but it stopped the cap. And even Classy Skull Champion David got this point off. 2 to 65. I'm trying to threaten these Purifiers off the point, but now we have Paladins out. And I need to be really careful. Now unfortunately, I'm not moving up. I need to move my Heretics up. The Heretics need to capture the point, and the vehicles need to defend. That's our only chance at this point. Unfortunately, I don't think JuhwannX is going to be able to get this point over here. His Predator is almost dead. Now, unfortunately, my Predators are running away from these Paladins. They need to go back now. Oh, unfortunately, a Hell Fury Strike my Heretics cannot capture under that kind of pressure. 1-to-1 cap, 2 to 24. I had that, our natural, but it looks like Juhwann cannot get this middle back. And unfortunately, I can't. Unfortunately, with my units, I just don't have the damage to force off that Grey Knight Bro Captain off the cap. And I'm trying, but I just can't do it. One of my Predators goes down. I try to have my Sorcerer cap under all this pressure. Unfortunately, I'm going to lose my Dreadnought too, losing all my vehicles. Just going for broke for this point. 2 to 10, single cap game. I got the decap off. Used some Warfire to try to get those Purifiers off, but I can't. Unfortunately, I'm not going to win against the... my Sorcerer cannot win a fight against the Purifiers. I cannot get them off that point. I lose my Predator, lost every single unit except for my Heretics, and it looks like Juhwann's not going to be able to get in this middle right here. Winkel is getting this middle cap off, and now we have a Land Raider Crusader coming down right at the end. Double cap for the blue team. I think they're going to take it. Of course, I already know what's going to happen, but let's be suspenseful for you guys. 2 to 4. Now we have that Land Raider Crusader out. And the game finishes. Win for the Grey Knights. Winkel and Classy Skull Champion David take it. Quite a game. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good night.